investigation.
Yes, the other affidavits were quite different. You'd also see, I think you requested from us the affidavit of a different witness. Yeah. When you read those as well, you can see the compliance with these sections.
Why didn't you bring to bear that particular need for compliance to this particular affidavit, which is dated less than 2 years ago, November 24? Why did you treat this affidavit as an exception to the rule that you say you had come to apply to all other Section 27 affidavits?
So I'm not going back.
Yes.
And I think that is where my fourth line lay, is understanding what the reasonable person, and went back into subjective. That was my error. It is an error. It was an honest error. The test isn't subjective, the test is objective. Here I brought a subjective mind to bear on the information the person gave us.
And Advocate Johnson, that is apparent from paragraph 4, because Mr. Adams says none of these people were suitable to be appointed to the post. That's his personal view, without grounds to support that.
Correct.
He doesn't even say they did not meet the minimum criteria, they did not have the qualifications. He just says, you appointed somebody from BMW as a brigadier, and then he says, not suitable, full stop. Why are they not suitable? Do they not meet the qualifications? He does not even identify the offense that he suspects is being committed there. Because appointment of somebody from BMW on its own does not tell you anything. Because my immediate question would be, what is wrong with appointing somebody, an engineer from BMW? If the position required an engineer, what would be wrong with that?
Correct.
That would be my immediate question. And I would need that to be addressed in the affidavit itself. Because the entry point, according to Section 27, is that the affidavit must specify 1, 2, 3. Not that it must set out the suspicion and then the grounds IDEC will figure them out for itself.
Understood.
Just on an answer you gave in response to Ms. Sillo, yes, you
sir.
said an error that you committed was not to apply was to apply the subjective test. The test is in fact objective. In that response, based on the answers you gave to me, and repeating the same thing a good few times throughout until your engagement with me, the distinct impression I got was that you've always understood the test to be subjective. Correct?
I understood the test to be the reasonable person test, which is an objective test.
Okay, I will not go back. I engaged you on the subjective and so on, because you cannot marry subjective and objective. It
Correct.
Simply let me ask you this question. So throughout, your understanding of Section 27 was in accordance with the responses you gave when I engaged you. As to what those were, the transcript will assist us. Throughout, that was your understanding. It is only now that you have clarity as to what exactly the test is. That is a test which is not subjective as you suggested it was, or a test which does not seek to mix a subjective and objective test. It is simply objective. So before now, you had, I feel bad to have to use this word, but your understanding was this muddled view of what the test was, which muddled view came out as I engaged you. So that was your understanding until now, until during this engagement. Is that a fair suggestion to you?
It is fair.
Thank you.
Can I just say, Ms. Johnson, that even allowing for it was an error, you applied the subjective test because of your misunderstanding of the test that applies. Even on that, in this affidavit, insofar as 727B requires him to set out grounds, this affidavit doesn't set out any grounds. To say I received an envelope that has procurement matters, that's not a ground. It doesn't tell you anything about the contents of the envelope. For all I care, those procurement documents may well not demonstrate anything wrong. So it's not clear to me when you say, well, I accepted because he's a member of parliament who serves in the portfolio committee, that when he says he has an envelope that is sufficient, you surely must know and understand that for you to say this falls within our mandate, you need to satisfy yourself with whatever it is he's relying on. So I don't accept that what you say is an error on your part of applying the wrong test, that it explains what happened here. It doesn't. Even on that error, I would expect you, as you understand the section, it says he must set out grounds, and he doesn't. He doesn't. When he goes on to say 4 other colonels who qualified or who are employed in crime intelligence, none of them were suitable to be appointed in this post. It doesn't tell you anything about this candidate that was appointed. It doesn't. So it is clear in 27B that he does need to tell you facts. Subjectively, he thinks those facts meet the test, but you have to know those facts before you say, yes, our mandate is triggered. You must agree with me. I must be correct in what I'm saying.
I'm not about to disagree.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I see it's 12:59, but it'll be an opportune time to take a lunch adjournment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sillo. Let's adjourn and come back at 2 p.m.
Thank you.